Hi everybody, it's Amy. Hey, I decided to make a really short video about the final project, just in case you're finished with everything and you want to start moving on. So basically what you see on the screen here is what I have in the OneNote right now. I have a tab called Final Project, and this is the basics, just to get you started, if you choose to start now. I'll be adding some more to it, so just stay tuned for more information. I will probably add more to this. I'm looking at the calendar right now, probably at the end of this week or early next week. So this is a rough outline of the final project to get you started considering your path for this assignment. So basically, your final project is going to be a visual project, but it could be part of your Freedom or Senior project, or it could be a choice project. You have to do it. You get to choose which one of those you want that to be. It has to meet the following requirements. And so here are the main things that I can think of right now that need to be met. One, your project must include visual design aspects that enhance and add visual elements to your Freedom project, Senior project, or Choice project. It must be created by you, but it can include assistance from family or peers. If you really want to work on this with someone, talk to me first, and I need to make sure that I know you're going to share the project and you're going to both be invested in it. Probably partners is the only way I'd really want to do this, unless you had a group and you're solid, ready to go, and you know that that's what you're going to be working on, and committed, of course. It has to contain challenging elements that include new learning that you're acquiring or you have acquired, like, within the last school year is fine, or techniques and skills you specifically worked on for the project. Okay, so you have to think about what kind of skills, like I want to learn how to screen print, so I'm going to make some screen printing, or I wanted to learn how to make a book, so I decided to make a book, and that's, you're incorporating something that you're learning. That's important. Number 3, we just talked about that. Number 4, it must contain visual ideas that are not all copied or duplicated from someone else's ideas, but it must include a visual reference in your project that is an inspiration or appropriated work from another artist or person, not a friend or a peer in the class. So this is a part that's a little bit different. And the purpose of this project is to use appropriated images somehow in your work. So first of all, you're thinking, what is an appropriated image? Wait a second, I'm just going to copy? No, you're not going to copy someone. You're going to use someone's idea or a visual or something in yours somehow. So let's go to number 5. You must watch this video and include one reference in your artist statement and planning that shows how you used another person's idea, thoughts, or concept, and you must explain how you appropriated it somehow into your work. So when you appropriate an image, you're taking someone's idea and you're incorporating it into your own, but you're making it your own. Sometimes we say, oh, change 3 things about it to make it your own. It's not just like, oh, I'll change the color, I'll change this, and I'll change that, and it looks the same. Well, you don't want it to be the same. So to understand this concept, you're going to watch this video about the case for copying. And they're actually going to give you an assignment. You're not doing that assignment, but I want you to consider possibly incorporating the idea of the assignment into this assignment. So appropriating images is very important, but you want to make sure you're not copying, because that's illegal. So there are ways that you can use someone else's idea or image in your work, and it's a reference to it, or it's based on that idea, and that's perfectly legal and appropriate. So it's really important as artists that we learn how to do this appropriately and do it with style, with aesthetics, and use it in a way that's unique and different. So there's other videos that I'll be putting in here too, or I'll add them to our videos, but on my YouTube channel, you can find a lot of playlists of different videos. But you'll find one playlist that I'll pop the playlist in here on the OneNote, but it will have a lot of different videos on what is digital art, what is installation art, sound art. A lot of times installation art can be something that incorporates other people's ideas, but you're not copying, okay? So let's take a look at the next part. So plan your project after you first watch a video. Plan your project, get feedback on your project from others. If you're creating this for Freedom or Senior Project, please get your approval on the visual aspect that's going to count for the grade for this class from your advisor. You need to make sure that your advisor understands that there's going to be a visual aspect if you do it for my class, and just CC me on the email. If you know what you're doing and they've already approved your idea and this is something in addition to it, maybe you want to surprise them, don't send them a message, just send me an email, and then I can say, oh, that would be so cool if you made a website or if you made a video to go with it or if you created a painting or something, okay? Then you're going to be creating your project and then get feedback and revise and refine your work and then turn in your final. You're going to create your artist statement and add your final project to your website. One thing I haven't added in here is examples of projects, and I'm going to be doing that at the very end here when we're done, okay? But before we get to examples of projects, I want to talk about the driving questions. So 1, how does image or idea appropriation lead to great ideas or personal growth? How can artists and designers use others' ideas in novel ways to create new works of art and design? And number 3, how can art and design skills, techniques, and methods enhance personal learning through interests? That's what our school is about. So those are our 3 driving questions I want you to think about as you're working through this project. Okay, so now we're going to talk about examples of work. I'm going to be adding these in here after. I'm just going to talk about them right now. So an example of a choice project or something to add to your senior project or your freedom project would be, you could make a website for your project, and that could be your visual project. If you are doing a writing or you're making a book, then you could design a website that you're putting your writings on, maybe make a video and introduce yourself and what you're working on. I think a website is fantastic for this project. It's visual, it's graphic, it meets all the requirements that are up here up above for what you need to do for this project, okay? So the only thing you were like, wait a minute, what about appropriation? Well, that would be if the idea is based on someone else's idea, that's how you're appropriating an idea or a concept and making it your own. Like if you're redesigning something, you say like you're redesigning an ice cream scoop. I mean, you could put some examples of ice cream scoops in history in there, and who designed the first one, who designs the best ones, what companies design ice cream scoops now, are there, new and different aesthetic principles to, culinary utensils that you can explore. You can figure out whatever works for you. But the idea of the ice cream scoop already exists. It's there. So you're appropriating it into something of your own. So that's an example. Let's see, you could make a sculpture. I know that there are some people and they've decided to do sculpture for the whole semester. Some of you have clay at home and you might want to make a clay project. I can't get in and fire them right now, unfortunately, but you could just turn in your work that's actually created, and that's okay. If it's in the greenware stage, then you can actually draw a photograph or draw pictures of how you wanted to design it when you eventually do. I will hopefully be able to in the summer go in and fire your work, or before school's over, I don't know. Or you could take that picture of your work that you create and bring it into a digital program and create a design that you might turn it into. Or maybe it's a cup, it's a set of dishes, and then you use watercolors to create what they might look like. Or it's just a sample of what you would like to make if you could make a whole set of dishes. So that's just an example. Another one I've had people do before for this project in this class is salt and pepper shakers. They design them, they plan them, they get clay, and they make a salt and a pepper shaker. And then when they have the opportunity to bring them to the school and drop them off, I'll fire them for you. I actually may have one person who might be able to go in and fire our work for us. That might be quite nice. We'll see if I can do that. I'll let you know. Let's see other examples. Let's say I've got this one thing here. Let me grab it. So I have this set of cards, and I have a couple of them. I have one about kindness. I have the one about know yourself, and I have another one. I think I'm weird. I have one about confidence. Okay, so these are sets of cards, and they're pretty interesting. On the very back, it has some information about what the cards are about. There's 60, and they're actually prompts. Okay, I bought these Christmas time or holidays. These are cards for compassion and empathy. Let's say I really like this idea. Like, oh, this is super cool. I want to make one for like someone's birthday coming up or as a gift for someone. and I want to come up with a different theme. Now, these are from the School of Life, okay? So these are something that's already made. It exists. How could I take this idea and make it into something that's my own? So first of all, I'm going to open them, and I'm going to take a look at them. And I've read all of them anyway, but they all have a design on the back, and then they have a saying or a statement or something like that. So what I could do is I could go through and I could read them to myself or make a video or whatever I wanted to do. So there's like 60 of these, I think. And actually, when you lay them, some of them have, like this one here. This one has a design. It's pop art. I've had people do lots of pop art projects in the past. Those are really fun. They take the whole idea of pop art and they make it into something new. But this is a cool idea where you're taking illustrations, and some of them look like children's illustrations, and you're putting something on the back. Well, what if I thought, oh, wait a minute. I like the idea of this. What if I did recipe cards? And I did my own drawings, and I wrote the recipe on them, and I put them in here in a box I made. Or maybe it's like a cassette tape box from old times. And I appropriated that and used that as a recycled object, and maybe I decorated or I painted that. And then I have a set of cards. I can put these back in here. I have a set of cards that are recipes, and maybe they're for my family, or maybe it's like, COVID memories or something. What a cool idea. That's an example of appropriating an idea into something of your own. Now, appropriating images into something of your own, this is a very good example. So this is one on confidence, okay, and it has the pop art stuff on it. But on the back of this, these all fit together in a giant, huge puzzle. So in a classroom, what I would do is maybe we'd read one of these a week, and then we'd turn it over and we'd put it on a bulletin board, and then we'd figure out what the picture is. I don't know what the picture is, but it's pop art for sure. And I bet it's something that's appropriated from pop art. It's not a real pop art image, but it's something the School of Life has created. So when you have all these cards, 60 of them, all up on this big wall, you are creating some kind of artwork after you've read all these. Or, I mean, it could be like a whole school year. You read, one a week, or it could be 2 months and you read one a day. How cool of an idea is that? So you could think of that idea, and you could say, okay, well, how could I use pop art to appropriate that idea and concept of pop art? If you don't know what pop art is, we've talked about a little bit of pop art before in the beginning of the semester. Pop art, I have some information on that. I'll put that in the OneNote. But how could you use pop art to get an idea across? And here's a good example. When I was traveling in Cambodia, and Vietnam, and Laos, we'd travel all around, and mostly Cambodia. They have posters all over the place about malaria, to raise people's awareness about malaria and using a net at night when you're sleeping on your bed. And the pop art that I saw was about mosquito nets. And it's bright, it's colorful, and it has lots of solid things like what you can see here. And it got people's attention. So they appropriated this style of pop art into a public service poster campaign to get people to get the free nets or the inexpensive ones and put them up so you don't get bit by mosquitoes at night and you don't get malaria. So art can be used for a lot of good things. So those are some examples of visual things. If you are one of those people that, hey, I'm doing music for my Freedom Project. This is what I'm doing. I'm writing an album. Well, it's just like the last project we did, design a cover for it and think about your design. How can you appropriate something? Or did you use chord samples from a famous work that you love and you incorporated those into your music? Yes, you have to write about that and you have to explain it. So you may have to do a little bit of research on, the artist and composer and things like that. But there's lots of other things you could do. So start thinking. It could be a video, a website. It just has to be something visual. Think about what you want to do. Start thinking about this now to make it easier, because you really only have 2 weeks for this project. It's going to be due, I think it's going to be due, I'm looking at my calendar, the 12th of June. So we'll start it the week of the 25th and 26th. There's no school on the 25th. So we'll start it that week. Get your ideas going, and then you'll have basically 2.5 weeks to get it finished before you turn it in. Okay? And I think the 12th is seniors' last day. So it'd be nice if we get these done a little sooner so we can share them with everybody. Okay, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know.